Welcome back to Way Past Due. This is Jason Watkins coming to you. I am about to probably say some things that are going to piss off some Chiefs fans a little more than they already are, but I don't really care because my job at Way Past Due is to get Otis Taylor into the Hall of Fame, which I thought I had everybody on board with this. Apparently not. Now, what I'm going to tell you is it's disheartening, folks. It really is. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't claim to be. I haven't claimed to be from the start. But what I am is a big Otis Taylor fan. I've been studying Otis Taylor's career for the last few months. I think it's an absolute travesty that he is not a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. An absolute travesty, a shame. Whatever crazy words you want to call it, it's bullshit that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is these last couple of videos that we've been doing on the apples to apples statistical comparisons that I came up with to try to combat what we feel like is happening at the Hall of Fame. They are putting Otis Taylor's raw numbers up against receivers that had an awful lot more opportunity than Otis Taylor would have ever had in the Hank Stram offense. And we're talking about an offense that I know of one game. They had 63 total plays. 3 of them were passes. 60 runs. Come on, folks. Come on. This is not an opportunity. Now, the last video that we did, we've been doing these comparisons with guys like Michael Irvin. We've been doing these comparisons with guys like even Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, I believe, is a fair comparison because he played about the same amount of seasons. In fact, he played, I believe, in 5 more games total throughout his career than did Otis Taylor. He was actually allowed to. Yeah, he had 731 receptions in 5 more games. Otis had 410 receptions in 130 games. So pretty fair comparison everywhere aside from, look at this. If you look at over the amount of time, pass attempts for the Lions during that time that Calvin Johnson played for them, which was 10 seasons, 135 games, they attempted 5,590 pass plays. The Chiefs, during Otis Taylor's 10 years, about 2,000, a little over 2,000 less, or a little under, a little over 2,097 less pass attempts over that same period, which would, kind of accounts for the 321 additional receptions that Calvin Johnson would have gotten. Now, the reason that this is a good comparison is because of this number right here. The player's reception percentage relative to the number of completions for that particular team. Both of these guys had 21% of their team's completions were their receptions. This is a fair comparison. There's a couple of guys that had a little more than that. You're looking at Randy Moss had 23.3%. CTO, what did T.O. have? T.O. 21.7. Otis was at 21.6. Jerry Rice, the greatest of all time, 23.9% of his team's completions were caught by him. So, but we're talking about Otis Taylor in the same breath as these guys because only Otis Taylor was one of those all-time greats, because we're talking about guys that, look, let's go down here and look at Michael Irvin. Also, 21.2%. He was their number one receiver. They threw the ball an awful lot more. 1,500 more times than did the Chiefs in that 10-year period. We're talking about Michael Irvin's first 10 seasons. So I've been getting a lot of heat, though, over the Travis Kelce video. And the reason that I even made the Travis Kelce video, I understand that he's a tight end. I'm not trying to badmouth Travis Kelce in any way, shape, or form. I agree with you. He is one of the greatest tight ends to ever play, and he's 10 years in. He's better than Gronk. He's better than a lot of these guys. Now, what I would tell you is be careful, because even the Tony Gonzalez Chiefs didn't throw the ball like this. Tony Gonzalez never got to play for Andy Reid. Imagine if he had, But let's not go there. That's fine. But don't badmouth Tony Gonzalez either. This guy is really the greatest tight end in Chiefs history. Okay, he didn't get the opportunities that Travis got. All right, but I'm not bad-mouthing Travis here. What I was trying to do was make the comparison that even a tight end in today's game, and especially playing for Andy Reid, has almost 300 more receptions in 10 seasons than the number one wide receiver, not just on the Chiefs, but probably in the league at that time, Otis Taylor. In his entire career, he had 410 receptions. He played in 3 more games in his first 10 seasons than Kelce played in his first 10 seasons. You could really say it's 9 seasons, because I know that first season he didn't really hit the field. He got hurt in training camp. I get it. But he's played 3 less games total and still has, 296 more catches in that time frame. 9,000 yards, 59 touchdowns. He still hasn't caught up to Otis in the touchdown category. Why would he? Otis, 15% of his catches resulted in a touchdown. Okay, so I've got, what was this that the guy said? Let me find this. Folks, I'm not hating on your boy. Okay, not hating on your boy. Not even kind of hating on your boy. But, alas, here we are. Let's take a look here. When I did this, I get heat from it. So you're looking at, that was the video talking about Otis Taylor in the current Kansas City Chief offense, what he would have done. I'm trying to make this comparison so that we can get Otis Taylor into the Hall of Fame, and yet compare Otis to Hill. Don't disrespect the greatest tight end of all time, says Herbert Petrillo. Herbert, come on, bud. You know better than this. You know better than this. That's not what we're doing whatsoever. It's not what we're doing. I was trying to show, as I said, that even a tight end today gets more opportunity than did a receiver, the best receiver in the league during his time. That's the reason why the man is not in the Hall of Fame right now, ladies and gentlemen, is because of the fact that the Hall of Fame voters are there looking at the same numbers you are, and they're not seeing that his 7,306 total receiving yards and his 60 touchdowns, to them, that looks lesser. But I got to tell you, some of you folks are doing the same thing. Okay? Some of you folks are doing the same thing. I'm going to go to where's my Twitter? Twitter and my notifications. Oh, my buddy, the Money Badger. This all started with all due respect to Otis Taylor, he's easily the best wide receiver in team history. Tyreek is a Chief forever. End quote, end tweet. There's no way that Tyreek Hill is as good as Otis Taylor, Money Badger. You might want to walk this one back. I tried to give him this opportunity. Nope, I'm good. Tyreek Hill is better than Taylor. I did call him a dumbass. Probably shouldn't have done that. You know what, though? He is a dumbass because even when I tried to explain to him the video about Otis and being in the current, it's a 12-minute video. Go and take a look at the apples to apples. you'll understand what I'm talking about. He says, I'm sorry, man. Saying Otis was better than Tyreek Hill was bad enough. Putting Lance Allworth and Otis next to Rice and presumably saying they're better than Randy Moss, Megatron, Fitzgerald, etc. is absolute insanity. Have your opinion, but man, I'm out. You know what, bud? That tells me that you guys are the reason that there's an issue. You people like this guy, people like even Herbert to take that the wrong way. And then there's a guy on TikTok doing the same thing, telling us that Tyreek Hill's the greatest deep threat in history. He's not the greatest deep threat today. And I venture to tell you that now that he's down in Miami getting passes from Tua instead of your boy Mahomes, you might have heard the last of Tyreek Hill. You might not have, but you might have. And I'm telling you now, if you want to, let's talk about this now. Since everybody wants to, blow up what I'm saying, let's blow it up. Tyreek Hill. Career to date, he has played in 91 games, which is less than Otis Taylor's 130 games. He has 479 receptions, 69 more receptions than Otis had in his entire 10-year career, 130 games. In that, he still had 479 receptions. He is a receiver, Herbert. He don't have as many receiving yards. He doesn't have as many receiving touchdowns. He has 2 more total touchdowns with his rushing, which he was a running back coming into the league. He has 2 more touchdowns total, 56 receiving touchdowns. Otis's total touchdowns is 60. His 13% TDs for the amount of receptions are also under Otis's, which is why he's barely above him in total touchdowns at all. 13.8 yards per reception. If you're such a great deep threat guy on TikTok, why do you average 4 yards less per reception? Money Badger. All you got to do is look at it. The only thing that separated, okay, here's the other part. Because of the fact, just in that amount of time, let's go down here to this team breakdown. In Otis's 10 years, the Chiefs attempted 3,493 passes in the entirety of 10 years. But Tyreek Hill's 6 years, the Chiefs attempted more, 3,553 passes. And that makes up 59% of the plays during Tyreek's career as a Chief were pass plays. He only accounted for 14.4% of those receptions went to him. Otis, for his career, 21.6%. Okay, 21.6%. 7% more went to Otis Taylor. Their total in 10 years' time was still less than 6 years that Tyreek was there. Okay. They completed 2,359 while Tyreek was there in 6 years. The completions for Otis's entire career, 1,901. I can do this all damn day. And I'm going to tell you right now that you're not close, folks. Money Badger, you're a knucklehead. You're not paying attention. Hey, everybody. Jason Watkins, Way Past Due and Nobody Safe Podcast. I wanted to talk to you once again about Riverside FM, the #1 online podcast editing software. It is an all-in-one suite, and it's simple, simple, simple. I am not what you would call a video or audio editing genius. I don't know hardly anything about it, but the good news is I do not have to. With Riverside FM, it's pretty much done for you. All I have to do and all you have to do is just focus yourself on creating fabulous content. That's it. If you do that, the rest is going to be taken care of by Riverside itself. Almost as soon as you are done shooting your podcast, your stuff is already there, ready to go. It's as simple as it can possibly get. take a look. All you have to do is scan that QR code in the top right. They're going to give you an hour for free for doing so. After that, you can go for as little as $15 a month, and it goes up in small increments afterwards. Don't Money Badger, you're a knucklehead. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. And if anybody, I'm going to tell you, you Chiefs fans that want to act like the past, the guy on TikTok yesterday said he played during the Revolutionary War. That was disrespectful. What? So he wasn't able to, yeah, he did play back in the day. He did play back in the day. And even in a time that was super run heavy, the Chiefs were more run heavy than the rest. You're not getting it. If Otis had just his 91 games, but his 479 receptions, he would have still gotten over the top of guys like Cliff Branch, who are in the Hall of Fame. Guys like, let's see, who else would this cover? Maybe Biletnikoff, pretty close. He certainly would have had more touchdowns than Biletnikoff. Maybe, no. Yeah, no, he'd be just below Biletnikoff still. But Biletnikoff played 190 games. This would have been in 90 games. He would have almost caught everybody in that amount of time. If he was they were throwing the ball as much as they are now, then they aren't. But let's just look at that. Tyreek Hill, if you gave him 130 games and they were only throwing the ball as much as they were when Otis was playing, he would have only amassed 5,675 yards. He still would have had 53 touchdowns, which is it's 9 less than his total now. Given that you're going to let him keep his touchdown rate and his yards per reception, everything else changes out. Otis, in 6 years at 91 games, would have been over 8,000 yards. This would have helped him get in the Hall of Fame, which is the entire reason that we do these. It is not to disrespect Tyreek Hill. But you know what? When you come back and you say something like that about Otis Taylor, you're disrespecting him. So you act like you want him in the Hall of Fame. And he kept saying in his tweets, I said that he deserves to be in the Hall. I said he deserves to be in the Hall, but he's not as good as Tyreek. Yes, he is, bud. And the fact that you're going to sit there and say that is disrespectful. But God forbid I disrespect a guy like Travis Kelce. I didn't. All I was trying to point out was that if he had the amount of opportunity that Travis Kelce had, as we will see, if he had that kind of amount of opportunity, he would have had 12,531 in just playing those 10 seasons. We're not talking about the fact that they don't have illegal contact in Otis's era either. Wake up, everybody. Realize what the problem is. The problem is, it's not that really that you Chiefs fans don't get it, but you should. Okay? The problem is that the Hall of Fame hasn't gotten it yet. That they're still looking at that 7,000 yard number and saying, that's not that good. They're not taking into consideration that even if you go back and look at, say, the Raiders and the San Diego Chargers back in those days, they threw the ball on average 100 to 150 more times per season, which would be 1,000 to 1,500 additional pass plays in a 10-year period that Otis played in. It's not apples to apples. You cannot go apples to apples comparing them. Our apples to apples comparisons do that. And I get heat from Chiefs fans. What the hell is wrong with you? I'm trying to help, folks. I'm just trying to help. And I believe, I'm telling you now, as a Niner fan, that I believe that Otis Taylor is only, if he's second to anyone all time, it would be Jerry Rice. That's it. You can argue about T.O. You could argue Randy Moss. Don't give me Michael Irvin. Damn sure don't give me, do not give me Tyreek Hill. Do not. Damn sure don't do that. Don't give me those guys. You want to argue about Calvin Johnson? Sure, we can argue that. And you want to argue about Larry Fitzgerald? Sure, we can argue that. Don't give me Tyreek Hill, bruh. Don't do it. I'm trying to help, folks, and you're giving me heat for it. Come on. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. Thank you.